We don't know the death toll. We don't know the cause. Can we do anything? As it stands, the mystery dog illness is still a bit of a mystery. Some vets believe that it could be viral. Others are thinking that it is bacterial. One thing is for sure, it is highly contagious and can lead to pneumonia. Vets are reporting a cough that will not go away, and alarmingly, it is affecting young and otherwise healthy dogs and dogs that have been vaccinated against kennel cough. Here is what I am doing to help keep my fur babies safe. Now, just a full disclaimer, I am not a vet. I do not pretend to be. I do not cure, heal, prescribe, or anything like that. I am, however, a classical naturopathic doctor, a certified health specialist, and a certified natural health care practitioner who is a very concerned pet parent, and I am listening and I am reading what vets are saying, both allopathic and holistic, and I am taking my knowledge of health and I am applying it to my fur babies. If your dog needs to see a vet, please do not use this as a substitute. Please take your dog to see your local vet. I come at health for my animals, my dogs and my cats and my family, my human family. We come at it from the theory of terrain theory versus germ theory. Terrain theory is basically the idea that germs are everywhere and they are not necessarily the problem. The castle, as I like to use the analogy, is our bodies are what we need to fortify and protect, and that our immune system as a whole is part of that. So if you would like to learn more about terrain theory, I wrote a blog post a few years ago. I will link it down below so that you can go check it out. It's actually on my mother's website. And if you are interested in living a more healthy life, check out my mother's YouTube channel at Sweet Urban Livin'. This is what I'm doing as preventative care for my dogs. This is something that I do all the time to support the terrain of the dog to help keep my dogs healthy. And if you would like to learn from a vet some things that you can do to help keep your dog healthy, Dr. Jones actually recently did a live stream with Rachel something or another. She is another YouTuber. They actually did a very nice conversation about what can be done for the mystery dog illness. So that is linked below. But one of the things that I do, and I'm especially doing right now, is I'm avoiding groomers, dog parks, anywhere that the dogs can be close, doggy daycare, that kind of thing. If you can avoid it, I would. And if you do need to take your dog to the groomer, if you do need to go out of town, because I know it's the holidays right now, Dr. Jones said to ask what are their tolerance against dogs that are showing symptoms of cough? What is the air quality filtration system like? Are they able to confine and separate a dog that is starting to show illness? These are very important steps. If the facility cannot adequately take good and safe measures, then it's probably not a good idea. Also consider, are you in a hot spot? In the Western United States, currently that is where more has been seen, but other states have been affected as well. So just check and see. You actually could call your local vets in the area and you could ask them how many cases of this they are seeing on a regular basis, and that can give you a very good idea for where you are of what's going on. So my dog Joy, I typically like to groom her at home anyways, just because we don't have a good groomer in the area. She's a Shih Tzu, and so they have to have regular intense grooming. So I honestly, if I was not already grooming her at home, I would switch to grooming her at home personally, just because I can and I have the tools to do it. I know some people are not able to groom their own dogs, and it's okay if you can't. I'm not judging. This is just what I'm doing. Maybe consider having if they're available, some groomers will come to your house and groom. So that's also another option. Exercise is a great way to boost your dog's immune system. It gets their blood flowing, it gets their immune system going, they are breathing in and out, and breathing in and out can help protect the lungs actually. And since this is a respiratory illness, getting good breathing is actually a really good thing. But again, dog parks may not be your friend right now. And if you live in a highly concentrated city that is highly affected, you might want to consider, instead of taking your dog for walks, Do indoor games. McCann Dogs has a lot of indoor training that you can do, but believe it or not, you can just play restraint recalls in your hallway and tire your dog out. Playing tug with your dog is a really good way to teach impulse control. Doing tricks. Asking your dog to sit and hold a sit for a long period of time actually tires them out mentally and physically. So there's lots of tricks you can do that aren't necessarily crazy, but it's just utilizing your dog's brain, getting them moving, even if it's small movement, but tire them out that way so that their stress levels are also lower, because lower cortisol levels actually means that your immune system is operating at a higher level. I'm giving my dogs a regimen of supplements. These are supplements I actually rotate in and out. I don't necessarily do them all the time, but these are things that I do for my dogs. So I actually give my dogs garlic on a daily basis. I know that this is kind of a controversial thing, but if you actually look, there are studies showing that garlic is actually very good for their immune system, good for heart health, and can prevent parasites. The studies that show garlic is actually toxic to dogs. The amount of garlic is an extreme amount of garlic that you actually would not even eat as a human. So you'd have to give your dog a lot of garlic. So a little bit of garlic. If you're not comfortable with garlic, that's fine. I know that there are some vets that recommend against it. Mushrooms are an excellent immune booster. I like the one by Barks and Whiskers because it's a blend of mushrooms. They're anti-inflammatory, they boost the immune system. They also help with autoimmune responses. So if your dog has allergies, which is an autoimmune response, that could be beneficial for them. There is studies to show that turkey's tail, lion's mane, reishi, and I believe cordyceps can be anti-cancer. And in Japan, I just learned the medical establishment in Japan is actually using turkey's tail along with chemotherapy as a cancer treatment for people. So I like to add in mushrooms. My dogs are not on mushrooms right now. They were on them a few months. Again, it's in my rotation. I like to rotate things out. Probiotics and prebiotics are things that I recommend doing. I like to use goat's milk as a prebiotic blend. You can also get others, but please use species appropriate because what humans need are different than what dogs need. Our intestinal tracts are quite different. Another great source of prebiotics is actually bananas. A prebiotic is the food that probiotics eat, and so it helps keep them alive and vivacious so that they can attack pathogens in our body and help keep our bodies in balance. I'm using aloe water. Aloe water is just the juice of the aloe plant, the innards of the aloe plant that has been distilled so it has no smell and has no taste, and it doesn't upset the stomach, and it's less of a laxative. However, it still has most of the healing properties of the aloe vera plant, which is actually antibacterial and antiviral. It's also great for anti-inflammatory, and it's a great digestive aid. Digestion is king when it comes to health. So this is one of the things that I like to do. Again, I rotate this in and out. So my dogs just finished their mushrooms, so they're actually going to be doing aloe water. And I just put a few drops in their water. The next thing that I like to do, and I like to rotate out different ones, currently the essential fatty acid that I am using, that's your omega-3s, omega-7s, omega-9s, omega-6s. Those are essential fatty acids. They are the fats that are essential for your dog's health. It helps with skin health, brain health, digestive health, immune health, and so many other things. But olive oil is a great one. It's also great for preventing fleas, I have been reading. And this goes along with the other thing that I like to do for my dogs, apple cider vinegar, which is also great for the immune system. You want the one with the mother. You can make it yourself. I've never done it, but that takes a few weeks. So what I actually have a dressing bottle that I put my olive oil in it. I add in my apple cider vinegar, so just a little bit of apple cider vinegar, and then the rest is it. And then I shake it up and I sprinkle it on my food, and my dogs think that it's the greatest. Oh, and apple cider vinegar and olive oil are great for joint health. So if you got a little bit of an elderly dog, this could help keep their joints nice and lubricated and help with the inflammation and pain. Another thing that I like to do for my dogs is I like to do brewer's yeast. It's rich in vitamins, which are important for the immune system. And I've read that fleas don't like them. Please keep up with your dog's dental care. Our digestion starts at our mouth, and that's true of us and it's true of our dogs. So if your dogs are having dental problems, they're having digestive problems. So one of the things I like to do for dental care for my dogs, because we actually struggled with this with Joy, Hannah is our other dog is part lab. and she's a natural chewer, so her teeth look great. Our vet actually was shocked that she was 3 years old because her teeth look like she's 1 because she chews so much. I am not a huge fan of the things like the Whimsies and the Greenies, even though they do work really well at making the teeth look nice. They are high in sugars and carbohydrates, and the ingredients are not as clean as I would like. If your dog needs a cleaning, you need to schedule that with your vet. If they have a chipped tooth, it needs to be looked at by the vet because it could lead to other problems. So make sure you're getting regular vet care to assess your dog's dental hygiene. Helping your dog eat healthy. Dogs should not have too high of a carbohydrate diet. They are omnivores, so they do well on having some greens and having some berries and things like that, but they still should not have too much starches. They should have a high protein diet. If your kibble is less than 20%, and this is still low, my understanding is that that's just not enough. It really needs to be 30%, 40% or more. I get the dog treats. Well, it's actually not a dog treat. It's actually a dog kibble substitute by Honest Kitchen. I have a whole video talking about how I use it, so check it out right here. This video, I talk about how I use it for training and stuff like that. So instead of my dogs getting a bunch of treats that are unhealthy, so I mix those in as I add them as mixers and things like that. So I'm really trying to make sure that my dogs are not getting too much nasty fillers, and as soon as I can, I would like to upgrade my dog's food. Keep in mind actually brushing your dog, not too often. Some breeds of dogs do not need to be brushed too often, but brushing, checking their nails, checking their ears, checking their teeth, really checking them over. Don't underestimate how valuable that is for your dog's overall health and well-being. It's a great relationship builder. I do have a video. If your dog is not comfortable being groomed, check out this video. I think it's like Snippy Things Scary or something like that, where I show how I've had to overcome some challenges with my dogs with grooming. Brushing them helps stimulate blood flow, which is very, very important for the immune system because life is in the blood. So stimulating the immune system, getting the blood flowing, it also can help keep the arteries nice and cleansed. It feels good for the dog. And you can, and like I said, you can check your dog over, and it's a really good relationship builder if you do it right. And having a good relationship with your dog is good. Also, it can reduce stress in your dog, especially if they're used to being brushed and used to being handled. And when they do need to go to the groomer, it is less stressful, or if they go to the vet, it is less stressful because they are used to being handled. So it's a really great way to de-stress. If your dog's not used to it, take it slow, take it in stages. Yes, and reward your dogs. Another thing to consider is the air quality in your home. What do I mean by this? The inside of our homes are actually often more toxic than the outside of our homes because of off-gassing from furniture, from plastics, from cleaners, from candles, from air fresheners. A lot of those things have VOCs, chemicals in them that are related to lung distress. Asthma can be triggered by it in people. I'm assuming the same for dogs. Really consider how much of that. Use natural cleaners, even some essential oils. I'm a little bit of a scrunchy mama myself, but certain essential oils are actually toxic to animals and are agitating to the lungs. Also consider what plants do you have in your home. Like, do you have lilies in your home? Those are toxic to dogs. So really consider keeping the air quality pure in your home, using natural cleaners. Vinegar is actually a very great cleaner. You can use it with a little bit of good cleaned dish soap. Dawn has a pure, clear one if you like Dawn, which I know a lot of people like Dawn. 7th generation, there are lots of good dish soaps that you can add, and you can make your own cleaner. I do like the Ecos cleaner with the parsley. It smells good, it's light, it's fresh, and it's a really great multi-purpose cleaner. I can be comfortable that it's not going to be toxic. I actually used to have a dog who I would use certain commercial cleaners and she would have seizures when I used them. So that really drove me away from using a lot of typical cleaners. Pine is actually one that's contraindicated for dogs and has been linked to seizures. So just keep that in mind. Even if it's natural pine, it may not be good for your dog. Also, you can open up your windows, even if it's for 30 minutes, just open up your windows and let the air move in your home. We replace our air filter on a regular basis. Make sure you're keeping up with how often your air filter needs to be cleaned. Another thing that we do to help keep the air nice for the dog is we use a humidifier, keeping the air moist, opening up the tissues in the lungs so that it can release the phlegm and release the toxins, can really go a long way for protecting your dog from a respiratory illness. My last preventative that I like to do for my dogs is I wash their bowls. And I know this seems simple, but even their water dish, I wash it on a regular basis because bacteria can build up. Make sure that you're washing your dog's bowl, their water bowl and their food bowl on a regular basis. I like to do it once a day, but sometimes that doesn't happen, so at least multiple times a week, okay? Now, let's talk about what I would do if my dogs did develop a cough. First, I would monitor how severe is the cough. Are there other symptoms? Are they lethargic? Are their eyes glassy? I really need to get a pet thermometer, but if I had a pet thermometer, I would be checking their temperature. I would be contacting my vet and assessing with the vet the situation. I'm an herb lady, so I tend to have different herbs on hand at different times. So these are things that I would use that I typically may have. I may have all of them at once, or I may just have a few of them at once. You don't have to do all of them. It's just these are the things that I would consider. Elderberry syrup, make sure it's not high in sugar, obviously. Local unpasteurized honey that has not been heated too hotly. Manuka honey is great, but honey is great because it can coat the throat. It's anti-pathogen, so it's good for whether it's viral or bacterial. So that is excellent. You can actually put it on wounds as a first aid. Slippery elm. It's kind of chalky. You can get it in a powder. You can get it in a tablet and break it up, or you can get like the loose bits and you can make a tea. But slippery elm is, I love it personally for a lot of cough drops. I like to have it for people, but I wouldn't necessarily give my dog the cough drop because that's gonna have some things in it that may not be safe for dogs, like xylitol, but are safe for people. One of the things that you can do is you can put the powder and mix it in with honey and mix it in like bone broth or like a green tea, and that can help soothe and reduce inflammation in the dog's throat. It's just wonderful for respiratory. I love slippery elm. I'm actually out of it and I need to get more. Quercetin is great for the immune health. It's great for viruses. Dr. Jones, the vet that I recommended earlier, he actually has his own for pets. It is a nutrient that is found in the skins of like apples and red onions. If you're not familiar with colloidal silver, it is one of my favorites. It's a immune staple in my house. You can get it at your local herb shop. You can get it online, but I would actually diffuse it in a essential oil diffuser, or I'd put it in my humidifier if I have a humidifier. Or if you don't have either, you could actually turn on your shower, get it nice and hot and steamy, and put a bowl of it in your shower, and it will diffuse into the air. But it's great antibacterial, antiviral. It's just a great antipathogen. And you can put it directly in your dog's water. Some dogs will drink it, some won't. So it just depends on your animal, but getting it in the air is actually really great. Another thing you can do with silver is you can use it as a surface cleaner. You can use it as an antimicrobial surface cleaner. So if you want to sanitize the kennel, or if the dogs have been in the same room, you can sanitize that and it can kill off a lot of pathogens like that. So that's a really, really handy little tool. If my dog starts developing a cough, I would be separating my dog from my other dog. I have 2 dogs. It's a multi-dog home. And so I would be putting that dog in the crate. Joy's crates are always out because we utilize the crates for her. She's always had a crate. She came crate trained. She loves her crate. So her crate, she has multiple crates. Hannah is not too fond of the crate, so I would have to pull her crate out. But if I needed to separate her, I would be separating her from Joy because, like I said, we don't know if it's viral, we don't know if it's bacterial, but we do know that it's contagious. So I would be separating them away from each other. And if your dog is anxious about being in their kennel, check out my crate training, My Anxious Dog, where we actually had remarkable success. Please do not expect your dog to get crate training this quickly as we did with Hannah. It was a miracle, but she was extremely anxious about being in her crate until this. Like I said, if my dog was developing the cough, I would call the vet, I would assess the situation. I would also consider, again, even if I did have a diffuser, I'd still consider doing the shower thing because that steamy hot shower can be really good for opening up the lungs and getting that phlegm and more comfortably coughing up the phlegm and getting whatever it is. Because remember, when you're coughing, a lot of times that's your body saying, I've got something in here that is not supposed to be here and I've got to get it out. So you're just aiding that process. We're working with the body. And like I said, talk to your vet. Find out what your vet recommends. They may say, keep your dog at home until you have such and such symptoms. Your vet may say, you need to get him in now. So talk to your vet. If you don't have a relationship with a vet, if you don't have a current vet, I highly recommend go ahead and start working on that relationship, because you never know when an emergency is going to pop up. Keep that in mind. And if you have found this really, really helpful, I highly recommend checking out this video right here. Peace out.